Hello everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Big D here. I'm going to show you the easiest way I've found to get butter from cream. I've looked at several different recipes on the internet. I've tried a few of them. Basically, you get a quart, that's 2 pints or 1 quart of heavy whipping cream, and you set it out. Let it come to room temperature, whether that takes 6 hours, 12 hours. I always went for 12. But you put it in the food processor, and it only takes maybe 4 or 5 minutes for the butter to come out of the cream. The trouble with that is the butter is really soft, and you lose a lot. You just can't collect it all. So I discovered this a couple of weeks ago. I needed to make the butter, but I didn't have time for it to set out at room temperature, so I just went ahead and put it in the food processor. It took longer, but the results were great. And you'll see this, and I'll explain it as we go. So there's 3 things you're going to need for this recipe. You need a quart of heavy whipping cream. You need a regular size food processor. And you need a large bowl filled with ice and water. It's really simple. You just take the cream out of the refrigerator, pour it into the food processor cold. Put the lid on and put it on high. Now I timed this, and it takes about 15 minutes, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. And you can see on the video that the cream is whipping up like whipped cream. It would be a little soggy right now, but it's going to get a whole lot better in just a few minutes. Okay, the whipped cream is coming a little bit better now. If you notice, it's going to fold over on itself right here, and that's where the butter process really starts. There it goes. Now pretty soon, the whipped cream, now this is good for the pie. Put a little sugar in it, you got a great topping. But the butter is just about to start coming out of it. You see the cream is moving around more as a mass. Butter's starting to come out of it already. And you see the whipped cream starting to lump up. That is butter. And man, is it delicious. Now what I discovered about this is being cold, the food processor rolls it into a ball. You just have to wait on that to happen. It actually, you have to hold the food processor down. But that is butter, what you're looking at right there. All right, there's the ball starting to form. You see it rolling around inside the food processor. Now, I was using one hand with a video camera, so I have to not be able to show everything, but there is the ball just like the food processor made it. And it's cold enough and firm enough that it's easy to pick up. Just kind of round out the edges. Normally, I would squeeze it a little bit with both hands. It helps get some of the buttermilk out of it. Put it in the ice water. This step, you put the butter back on the food processor base and run it again. It won't make a ball this time, but it will collect it. You can always tell when the butter is coming out of the cream because of the splatter up on top. That's buttermilk. And the reason they call it buttermilk is because it has butter in it. Now, I would normally do this with 2 hands, clean it with a spatula, because you don't want to lose anything you don't have to. I'm sorry for the bad camera angle. There's a little bit left on there, and I shook more than what it looks like off of it. That's still not a whole lot of waste. Now, I'm doing this with my hand. Ordinarily, I would use a spatula. It's much easier. But I didn't have 2 hands free. It's sticky, but it's chilled and it's pretty firm. So it's just not that hard to get it out. Just kind of squeeze it, smooth it out a little bit. Getting the last bit I can get with my hands, or hand. Now there's what I have so far. I figured out I could put my camera on the toaster on my cutting board and use two hands. Too late to go back and do the other that way, though it's already done. But you'll see here in a minute there's hardly anything left in that food processor. That's it right there. Maybe 1.5 tablespoons, maybe 2. Now the cool thing about this is what's left in the food processor is buttermilk. You pour it through a strainer to get the last amount of butter that you can. And I'm going to hold the food processor up to the camera where you can see how little bit was left that came out, and there's virtually nothing left inside that food processor. You see what I'm talking about? And you just shake out that last bit into your hands and form it into a ball like the rest of it. Now there's a pint of real buttermilk plus somewhere close to 2 pounds of butter. You seal up the buttermilk, put it in the refrigerator, and drink it or use it. You know, it makes pies, it makes breads, anything you can do with buttermilk, it will do it. But you got to use it, you know, within probably 1 day. It goes bad quick. Now just take the butter out of the ice water and squeeze it. Both hands, roll it around, squeeze it several times to get all the buttermilk out of it. You can wrap it up in plastic and throw it in the freezer, or you can mold it if you have something to do that in. But it's not necessary. And this is real butter. When you put it in the microwave, it will not splatter. It only takes about half the time of store-bought butter to melt. So, to me, it's worth a little bit extra money, a little bit extra time to get a better product. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it helps you. It's really an easy process. You just got to be willing to set aside about 30 minutes. And then you got yourself delicious butter and some real buttermilk.
Check out some of my other videos
at Movie Man 1953.
I've never made a penny from any of these videos and never will, but I had a great time doing them. So if you see one you enjoy, hit that like button. Or better yet, leave a comment. I love to read comments. So I'll see you there.